AOC. What? She's kind of fun in a silly but earnest, wrong but adorable way. She's like your daughter when she comes back from her first year at Brown, full of half-baked, half opinions, in need of some gentle, patient deprogramming. But people have to realize new faces doesn't mean new ideas. Drives me crazy. AOC has never introduced a fresh idea or issue in her life.
Greg Gutfeld is never one to hold back, especially when it comes to calling out politicians who thrive on drama more than solutions. And this time, his target was none other than Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, better known as AOC. What started as a heated discussion turned into a full-on showdown that had AOC shouting in frustration while Gutfeld absolutely tore apart her arguments in his signature-styled SO. What really happened? Let's break it down. It all began with AOC once again stepping into the spotlight, presenting herself as the ultimate defender of the people while blaming her usual targets, the rich, conservatives, and of course, Fox News, for everything wrong in America. She painted herself as the victim, as she often does, saying that the system is rigged and that ordinary people don't stand a chance unless massive government programs swoop in to save the day.
There's nothing consistent with the Republican Party's continued attack except for the racism and incitement of violence against women of color in this. The Republican caucus threatened my life, and you all and the Republican caucus rewarded him with one of the most prestigious committee assignments in this Congress. Don't tell me this is about consistency. Don't tell me that this is about an
But here's the thing, Greg Gutfeld wasn't buying it. Instead of letting her speech go unchecked, he went straight for the weak points in her argument. He pointed out the irony in her constant complaints about capitalism while enjoying every benefit that comes from being one of the most powerful members of Congress. He mocked the way she portrays herself as a grassroots activist while living a lifestyle far from the struggles of everyday Americans. And this is where it got spicy. Gutfeld highlighted how AOC has built her brand not on actual accomplishments but on outrage, tweets, and soundbites that go viral on social media. He said she's more focused on being an influencer than a lawmaker, and honestly, it hit a nerve. Because right after that, AOC snapped.
Is because she's like an 80-year-old leftist in a used bookstore. I mean, she may look fresh, but she's as stale as an abandoned futon on the street. It's like I listened to her, I go, I heard that at Berkeley in 1983. So their problem is, and the reason why they don't have any ideas is they operate on half opinions. Like, what if we get rid of cash bail? Oh, let's do it. What happens? You have repeat criminals wreaking havoc. What if we have sanctuary cities? Hey, let's do it. What happens? You have rapists and killers, finding sanctuary, safe haven.
She went into full-on shouting mode, defending herself, trying to paint Gutfeld and his audience as part of some big conspiracy against her. She raised her voice, waved her hands, and doubled down on the same talking points about the evil rich and corporate greed. But the more she raged, the calmer Gutfeld became, picking apart her words with humor and facts. At one point, Gutfeld even joked that AOC's arguments sound like they were pulled straight from a college protest flyer, loud slogans, but no real substance. That comparison was brutal, and you could see it on her face. She was fuming. She wanted to come off as strong, but instead, she looked flustered and out of control.
How she explains it. They're not meant for you, right? But then you have to ask, okay, then what is this debt forgiveness? Who is it meant for? And when you look at the data, it's upper, white, middle-class, liberal women. This ain't welfare, right? These are well-to-do people. It's a bribe for Democrats on the backs of plumbers, truckers, and everyone else who actually does a real job, unlike me. AOC is the symbol of the entitled sponge. She complains about student loans, but she owns a
The audience couldn't stop laughing, not just because Gutfeld was funny, but because he was exposing the contradictions in AOC's persona. On one hand, she claims to fight for working-class Americans, but on the other, she supports policies that could crush small businesses with regulations and taxes. On one hand, she claims to be about equality, but she elevates herself above criticism by shutting down anyone who dares to disagree. Gutfeld's point was crystal clear. AOC thrives on outrage because outrage keeps her relevant. Without the constant drama, without the constant battles with conservatives, her brand would fade. And that's why she lashes out so aggressively whenever someone challenges her, because it threatens the image she's carefully built.
let their ideas incentivize, that would be nice. So where are their ideas going to come from? Trump. The only way they're going to create a message is based on whatever Trump does. So I have some slogans for the Democrat Party.
Oh, wow.
The Democrat Party, when you're tired of success.
Okay.
The Democrat Party, make America suck again. Democrat Party, the first choice for illegals, vandals.
By now, the back and forth had turned into a spectacle. AOC's voice got louder, but her arguments got weaker. Gutfeld, meanwhile, stayed sharp, funny, and composed. He reminded everyone that leadership isn't about screaming the loudest, it's about having real solutions, something he argued AOC consistently fails to deliver, and honestly, he has a point. When you look past the fiery speeches and viral tweets, what has AOC really accomplished in Congress? Her proposals rarely make it into law. Her big ideas, like the Green New Deal, are more slogans than serious policies. She might dominate headlines, but headlines don't solve problems. Next, voice 6. That's exactly why Gutfeld's takedown hit so hard. He exposed the gap between AOC's image and her actual results. And when someone like AOC is confronted with that reality, her response is always the same: rage, shouting, and blaming others. But here's the thing, every time she reacts like this, she only proves Gutfeld's point. Instead of calmly defending her record with facts, she resorts to noise. And in politics, noise can only take you so far.
Owns a French bulldog. Thanks to Cat Temp, I know everything about French bulldogs. And one thing I know,
I got a French bulldog.
They are so expensive. They're more expensive than any college tuition. That you got to take care of them. They're adorable dogs. But she owns a Tesla and she owns a French bulldog, and she wants you or your dad, the electrician, to forgive her student loan. That's BS. Turn in the Tesla, sell the dog.
By the end of the exchange, the contrast was impossible to ignore. On one side, a calm and witty Gutfeld dismantling arguments with humor. On the other side, AOC shouting, pointing fingers, and looking like she had lost control. And if you ask me, that moment showed exactly why so many people are starting to lose patience with her style of politics, because at the end of the day, Americans don't want politicians who scream, they want politicians who solve problems. They don't want Instagram celebrities in Congress, they want leaders who can actually deliver results. And that's why moments like this matter. They cut through the noise and remind people of the difference between entertainment and leadership.
Mean. You're mean. You're being mean.
But I'm fascinated they thought there was an audience for this outside of like Earth Justice or the Justice Democrats, because who really wanted to go and see this thing? And then tomorrow you'll have an article that we'll have to talk about, which is that kids all over America are having nightmares about climate change. Well, no wonder.
Well, Jessica, what about the fact that the climate activists are very much, they're very much enthused about what they do? And
AOC was on 60 Minutes last night. Quite a feat for a newcomer. Must be all her great new ideas.
People are going to have to start paying their fair share in taxes. Once you get to like the tippy tops, on your $10 millionth dollar, sometimes you see tax rates as high as 60 or 70%.
What an expression. Now, the real story isn't AOC's very old ideas. It's the media's gushy view of her. Even with her old ideas, she gets on 60 Minutes. The past is called...
Greg Gutfeld didn't just go off on AOC, he exposed the truth that she tries so hard to hide. And her reaction, the rage shouting, made it all the more obvious. She can try to spin it, she can try to blame it on conservatives or the media, but the reality is clear. When pressed on real issues, her answers collapse under pressure. And for someone who built a career on being tough and unshakable, that's not a good look. So, what do you think? Was this just another shouting match, or did Gutfeld reveal something deeper about AOC's political style? Either way, one thing is for sure, this showdown won't be forgotten anytime soon.